Let's rock and roll. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Regan's Rugby Strength and Conditioning. Another solo podcast for you chaps and chapesses. I haven't got anyone really cool apart from me. I think I'm cool enough on the podcast. But yeah, I'm in another live Q&A with the guys in my private community on Facebook. If you just search Regan's Rugby First Team, you can join in on all the bants, on all the fitness tips, nutrition, rugby, and just general chit chat. So if you're not in there, get fucking involved. Couple of topics, questions from the week that I have got from a few of the guys, and we're just going to ramble through them. If there's any questions through the live recording, I'm gonna answer them at the end, and we'll see how many peeps want to get involved. So the first topic was about your immune system. Now this was on the tip of my head. I'm so bad at English phrases now because I'm obviously not in England and speaking to English people all the time. Immune system is at the front of my thoughts because I did the email. Again, if you're not on my email newsletter, it's another way to get tons of hilarious free info from me every single day. And I talked about your immune system, which is very important. And obviously a lot of people initially want to hear about losing weight, feeling fitter, getting back in their first team, feeling better in their holiday clothes, holiday t-shirt photos, whatever. Another thing that I don't bang on about too much, because it isn't anyone's sort of primary concern. If you're listening here and you're not feeling super fit and whatever, the first thing you're thinking about isn't, I want my immune system to be better. I don't mean to impersonate you. That wasn't meant to be an insult. But that's usually not the first thing that you're thinking about. It's usually, shit, man, I feel overweight. I feel fat. I feel rubbish. I want to get my energy back, blah, blah, blah. And the immune system might be later down the line, or once you join the plan or start eating better, you get it. You get a better immune system. So it's not on the forefront. I think that's the phrase, the forefront of anyone's mind, because it's not the primary thing, but it's super fucking important, especially with all the illness scareness that's going around and COVID and flu and whatever your thoughts are on it. It's funny how all the government advice is stay inside and take a vaccine rather than eat healthy food and get some sunlight. Anyway, that's a topic for another show. Yeah, getting your immune system up is fucking well important. A lot of the nutrition stuff I talk about is about weight loss. It is about trimming your body fat down. It's about looking better, but having a high working immune system is well important. And I use the very basic phrase well important because I'm just going to let you know I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a qualified nutrition expert, yada, yada, yada. This is just from my experience, from myself and my in-person personal training clients and my online members as well. So a lot of people, if you're not looking after your food, you'll be going for the easy option, which is the takeaways, which is the microwave meals, which is bang it in the oven meals. And those are usually full of shit, full of just a lot of chemical crap, a lot of preservatives. If it might say chicken on it, it might be about 20% chicken meat, and it's probably going to be chicken balls and skin and the thing on their neck and whatever. So all these microwave meals, all this quick food, the nutrition quality is very, very poor. And you won't know the difference unless you start eating well, and not eating well for fucking 2 meals. But if you have good quality, nutritious food for a good couple of weeks, you're going to feel your energy levels are better. You wake up with more energy. You're going to sleep better because your body has got the little internal things that it needs to do all the little internal processes. Again, I told you, not a nutritionist. You're not going to get some scientific explanation of all this, but it's super important to keep your immune system high. You don't want to get sick. You might be stressed at work. You might be having little sleep. If you've got a new baby, you're probably not sleeping much as well. So getting your food on point is very important. And a lot of people it's rare that I accept this answer, but a lot of people tell me they do not have time to exercise. It might be a time in their life when they're doing double shifts, they've got a baby, they've got this and that and that. And for that period of their life, they cannot spare 45 minutes or an hour workout. But what we all do, probably 3 times a day, 3 times a day, is eat food. And that is something that you can maintain and that you can change. You might not have time to go to the gym or to do this workout, whatever, or maybe you might not have time to do it 4 or 5 times a week. Everyone can find a couple of slots, but we all eat usually 3 times a day. And if you want to get on your training, get on your new healthy routine, but you feel like you don't have time for training, then food we can all do. Proper food, proper veggies. A lot of supermarket veggies are force grown and they're fake crops and shit like that. So try and get some proper not homegrown, but proper veggies that actually look like vegetables and not the pale, shitty, untasty version you might get at a normal supermarket. Same with meat. When I used to get supermarket meat, they pump it full of water and salt. They pump it. It might be, let's say, a packet chicken breast is 400 grams on the packet. Oh no, bacon's a good one. Who remembers bacon strips? Who remembers? Not remembers, like it's like back in the old days. If you put a tray of bacon strips down and it covers the whole tray and you have to squeeze it on, or in a big pan, if it's normal supermarket bacon, you know it's going to shrink and you're going to be able to put more on because they pump it full of water, they pump it full of salt and a whole load of shit. Whereas if you go to a proper butcher's, which I found out is not even it can be more expensive depending on what you're getting, but it may be 5 or 10% more expensive than the supermarket crap. But if you weigh out the actual weight of it, because after you cook your bacon, it's probably half the weight. So the price per weight is probably more than if you went to a butcher. And the same as you go to a proper grocer's or you go to a proper farm market or something like that. Yes, it's a little bit of time to go to these shops, but convenience is the thing that leaves you feeling unhealthy, going for the quick option. And it's not convenient to bloody have to work out and exercise, but you have to, otherwise you're going to be left in this current state that you are. Went off on a tangent about food quality there, but yeah, keeping your immune system up is super important. And it's like a secondary effect of cleaning up your eating and stuff like that. Building your confidence. That was just a general topic. That isn't obviously something that someone asked me, but I just wanted to mention about how when you take a leap on a new training plan, a new lifestyle for yourself, and once you see some change, which if you commit for more than 3 or 4 days, if you commit for a couple of weeks, you will see change. And it will improve across the board. I probably bang on about this a few times, but it's because it's the truth. If you were very unhealthy, going for fast foods, not eating very well, not training well, not managing your health much at all, if you get on a plan, start doing some exercise, eat better, you're probably going to trim up a bit of body fat, and immediately there's a high, there's a like, oh shit, I've done it. Like I've finally lost a bit of weight that I've been carrying for ages. And it feels good. It feels fucking good to do something and to get a little bit of change. And often people get demotivated because they maybe start their plan on Monday and by Friday they give up because they only lost or they didn't lose any weight. Or actually what they do is they weigh themselves Monday, hashtag new me, hashtag new week. They might train a couple of times, eat well Thursday or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they go out binge. And then on Monday, they maybe put on weight from the week before and then they give up. So the one week training thing is too common. And you need to stick at something for a couple of weeks. And when you see the weight change come down, it makes you committed even more. Maybe you're going to you're going to cut out a few more things. You maybe had 2 chocolate bars a week before, you're going to have 1, or maybe you cut down on cigarettes, you're going to have even less. And that confidence goes across the board. You're going to have your old favorite shirts on. The runs are going to get easier. The workouts are going to get easier. You're going to look in the mirror and be like, shit, I'm a sexy motherfucker. That helps at home. That helps with your family. That helps at work. And it's just a positive multiplier. I'm trying to find a quote that I put on my story today from a guy. Got the bug back. That was it. Getting the training bug back. A lot of guys, if you maybe had a new family, you got a longer working job, whatever, you lose the fitness bug because you completely get out of it and you have no motivation. And once you get that training bug back, it's a big positive multiplier. Everything comes together. You're feeling better. You can chuck away all your fat old clothes. No one's giving you digs like, all right, fatty, how you doing, mate? You had a good summer then, baddy, bah. And they're suddenly saying, oh shit, Mike, how'd you lose that weight? Oh shit, Michael, you're looking good. And like, we don't do it, or I don't feel like people that I help do it for external gratification, but it is a bonus. It's nice when someone says, oh shit, Danny, you're looking pretty trim, mate, or you're looking pretty good. The guys, when they're like a month or two into my plan, when they start to see other people, it is when people they haven't seen for a while, they're like, oh shit, you've trimmed up. There's a guy called Craig who did my plan last year. I think he did it twice. So he was with me for 6 months, and that was in COVID time when we're all locked down. And I think he hadn't seen some of his colleagues for 4 or 5 or 6 months, and he'd lost like 4 stone in that time. And they were like, shit, man, they didn't even recognize him. So it's nice to have those comments, even though that's not why we're doing it, because we're doing it for ourselves. But it is nice to get sort of feedback from other people that what you're doing is obviously working. Next topic. This is a question from a new gent who joined on the plan last week. He was talking about fasting, which comes and goes with the trends, with all the other fucking bullshit trends. Someone suddenly fasts and everyone will copy it for 6 months, and then everyone forgets about it. And this guy was saying that he would eat food. It was about the metabolism and the old bullshit, the bullshit mentality of, oh, well, you eat little and often, and then basically you burn off what you're having, and then you have a little bit more 2 hours later, and then you burn that off, and then a little bit more 2 hours later, and you burn that off, which is like GCSE PE knowledge. Is fucking bullshit. It does not make sense whatsoever. And you don't need to do that. I think when that is promoted is when in these magazines, when they're interviewing bodybuilders and fitness models, because they eat so much, they have to have 5 or 6 meals. They might call them small meals, but a bodybuilder meal is like 2 chicken breasts, 2 cups of rice, and like a whole load of veggies, because they're absolute units. And basically people trickle that down into an everyday person. And they say, oh, you need 5 or 6 small meals a day, just because they're copying and pasting what the person said, the bodybuilder, the fitness model, in their interview, because they're freaks and they don't have the same lifestyle as you. So that's where the little and often comes from. However, it is not the case. So nutrition timing is important. Pre and post workout is important in my eyes. Some people can have 1 meal a day, but pre and post workout are important meals to have. But this guy who's joined the plan, he said he used to force himself to have breakfast because he thought, you have to eat little and often and it's not good for you. But in my opinion, that's bullshit. That's a load of shit. Because I've had experience myself with my members, with other people. But I would have said the same thing if you came to me in my first 1 or 2 years of personal training, when I used to believe all these fucking bullshit myths. And because I used to do it, because I was one of those freaks who's doing things that don't relate to an everyday rugby dad like you, I would be telling people to do it, but it is not essential whatsoever, especially if your goal is weight loss. If your goal is weight loss, the main thing you need to worry about is bringing your calories down and monitoring your calories for a long time, not for Monday to Friday. And then obviously playing with the macronutrients is important as well. But the main thing, if you want to get the weight down, is do some form of exercise and bring your calories down, overall calories down. There's a lot more you can go into. Again, I'll reiterate, not a nutritionist. This isn't going to be fucking backed up with 15 million studies from XYZ University. But yeah, it's not essential. And I said to this guy, well, what do you like to do? What did you do before? He said, well, I like to skip breakfast because I don't really have too much time. I've got to walk the dogs and I've got to do it before it's 35 degrees, because he lives in the Mediterranean. And I said, well, don't fucking do it then, mate. He also said when he ate at 9, he felt hungrier 3 or 4 hours later, and he was eating at 12. Whereas if he fasted and he had nothing, he wouldn't be hungry until like the last hour or 2 before work. So I was like, well, just fucking do that, mate. His goal is to trim his body fat down. And so he doesn't need to make sure he gets the food in. If you want to put on muscle and increase your performance, and if you're looking to play at a higher level, then getting a lot of meals in is important. Otherwise, if you want to get 200 grams of protein in like 1 or 2 meals, it's going to be a fucking 2 whole chickens or whatever. But for most of the guys listening to this, you want to trim up, feel fitter, feel better. Fasting is a-okay in my books. There's a lot of research, not fitness research, I learned from my loving fiance Viv, that helps the internal digestion with fasting. And this isn't talked in bodybuilding, in rugby, or in whatever, strongman, because they're all about eat, 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 get your food in. But if you fast, sometimes 24-hour fast once a month, 48 hours, some people do more, it helps clear out your body's digestive system, because if you've always got food in your stomach, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snack, then your stomach is taking most of the blood and most of the energy of your body throughout most of the day. We all know if we have a huge meal, big red meat meal maybe, then we feel slumped, whatever. You might be trying to work in the afternoon, you're absolutely knackered because all the blood is in your intestine trying to digest that. So if you have, and I'm not telling you this from experience because I actually haven't done it, but if you have, I should do it now. I should practice what I preach. You know what? I'm going to do that this month. I'll do a 24-hour fast this month. Boom, said it on the internet. It's got to happen. It gives your body time to use the blood and use the resources elsewhere, and it's really good for anti-inflammation and a few other things that I've forgotten because I haven't done it, so I haven't done too much research, but I will commit to doing that this week. If anyone's watching this video now, who wants to do it with me? If you're watching this now or any point in the future, let's set a date where we have a go, 24-hour or even longer. See what it does, see how it goes. To be fair, to make it like substantial, it's probably got to be 48 hours, but let's see if anyone's watching or listening and fancies doing it, because that'll be a good experiment. We can experiment on our bodies together. So yeah, my opinion, fast for weight loss goal, fasting is a-okay. Skip your breakfast. You might skip 20 minutes, 30 minutes if you don't have time to cook and eat and wash up and whatever. So yeah, my opinion, fasting is a-okay. Next topic wasn't a question, just something that I'm going to share from personal experience, which is about keeping your daily activity high. Now, we're in a world and a lifestyle where everything's instant, everything's online. You can tap your finger and everything's done. But what that means is you may have this issue. You can find yourself sat at your desk all bloody day, especially now. Most of the world, if you can work from home, has been working from home. You barely even leave the house. And I'll share my experience. And I actually remembered this from a couple of days ago, looking at my old content, trying to think of some old topics that I hadn't thought about again. And I looked at my old videos from around Christmas time. I mean, it is Christmas time when I'm stuffing my face, and Christmas and my birthday are 6 weeks apart. So I basically just stuffed my face for that 2 months, and I was big old chunky around here. Door just opened. Hopefully it's not intruder. Big and chunky like this. And that's because I was at my mum's house over Christmas for a few months. I was back in England, and I was doing a daily walk, about 4 or 5K. I was doing a workout, but other than that, I was laptop to kitchen. And anyone knows going to their mum's house, she's got all the favorite snacks, all the old goodies, the Jaffa cakes, the hobnobs. I don't buy them, otherwise I'll eat them in the house. But I was eating a lot and I was not moving a lot. And I naturally put on, okay, not naturally because I was eating more, but I didn't weigh myself, probably 3/4 to a stone heavier than I am what would be now. And I actually have not done a workout in 2.5 weeks, because 2.5 weeks ago, it was 38, 39 degrees. And I did one workout in the morning, but that was it. That was after having like 4 days off. So I've done one workout in 2.5 weeks. And the second one, I got a new tattoo. Kapow! Look at that bad boy. And you can't exercise because you sweat it out. So I've done no workouts for 2.5 weeks. But what I've been doing, as you all know, my life story, tons of DIY morning and evening. So now in the morning when it's super fucking hot, you have to water the plants in the morning, and I'm actually experiencing the joys of having to water your grass. That's not an issue when you live in England. Watering the grass, watering the plants in the morning is probably 20 minutes of walking around with a bucket and a hose, whatever. And every evening, there's about an hour's work of re-watering again, or tinkering this, or move that, or whatever. So I'm doing quite a fair bit of daily activity. And I'm trimmer than I was around December, which is from the daily activity. I eat pretty well. It's not perfect, but I kind of enjoy eating good food. I only buy good food. Only on the weekend, if we go to a meal, might have a snack or a dessert. Generally, I eat pretty perfect, and it's not really a chore to do that because I've done that for so long. But that's me, because I told you I'm obsessed and I'm different. I got a different mindset and attitude to you who might be listening to this. But I basically just want to tell you, to encourage you to find something that keeps your daily activity up. I know it's harder with everyone's time restraints, but playing with the kids can be daily activity. If you clean the house, I see that as a workout. Put my headphones in and I try and bosh it out. That can be daily activity. Doing something in the garden, you might not have a garden, finding a hobby to do as well. Anything that gets your body moving slightly. Obviously, rugby is a workout, but trying to find things that you're going to do daily. Because when I was doing my daily walks, I had to force myself, and it was fucking boring as hell walking around a couple of the same streets every morning. Fucking boring as shit. And I was on a beach in the Isle of Wight, so it was even cool that there was beaches and caves and the sea. And even after like 5-6 weeks of that, I was bored. So if you can find an activity that you do, that is going to be more entertaining, and you're probably going to do it for longer. So that was just sharing a bit of personal experience there. And the last topic, keeping up with the youngsters. This is talking about some of the rugby dads who are still playing rugby or maybe playing socially. And again, if you're on my Facebook, Instagram, I shared that today. That he said, in fact, let me try and read it. I'm pretty quick on my phone. He said to me, I kept pace with lads 10 to 15 years younger than him and bested at least half of them. I think he's 40, early 40s. He's week 11 of my program, and basically he's feeling like a beast. He hadn't played rugby for like 3 years before, and now he's going back, and he's fitter than half the boys at training, and he's not played for 4 years. Where was I going with that? Keeping up with the youngsters. Just talking about that topic. A lot of the guys tell me that that's what they fancy doing. It's not something that, again, I've not experienced it because I'm not in the same shoes as you. But that might be something you want to do. You want to keep up with these guys. You want to feel like a bit of a legend again on the rugby pitch. If you are fitter, you don't have to think about the skills so much, and you might be able to play better and enjoy training more and enjoy playing more, or training even if you aren't playing properly. So if you are feeling unfit, feeling rubbish, you go to rugby training, you're blowing out your ass, the guys are taking a piss out of you, you're dropping balls, you're knackered all the time. If you do something about it on the other days of the week, because some people think that their rugby is enough. 2 hour-and-a-half training sessions, not even a game now. So 2 hour-and-a-half training session, they might be hard for those 3 hours, but, here's some quick maths. I don't know. There's about 170 other hours in the day. And if all of those days you're sitting down, you're doing nothing, you're having Haribo, you're having your doner meat kebab, Domino's every Tuesday, whatever, then those 3 hours of rugby are not going to be enough. Doesn't matter if it's pre-season. Like, I think I tell people when they join my plan, I don't need you to, like, some rugby sessions are an hour and a half of absolute beastings. You're knackered, you're dripping, you're dying. That can even be more detrimental, if I'm honest, because there's phone's going, it's distracting me. That can be more detrimental because you can not eat after, you can go to sleep, you can be knackered the next day. Whereas on my plan, it's short and sharp. It's 5-6 times a week, 30 to 45 minute workouts. And that is what I promote, because you don't need to blast yourself. If someone does 2 mega crazy workouts and they're too fucked to manage their food and they're too knackered or aching like hell after those 2 workouts, that's not as useful as doing 30 minutes of exercise most days of the week, 5-6 days a week, plus having enough energy to concentrate on your food and to prep some of your meals, and just to think, okay, well, I'm going to be here, let's go and get this type of meal, rather than waking up late and you're knackered and you're super sore as fuck and whatever. So again, went off tangent there, but how did that go from? That went from keeping up with the youngsters to managing your training volume. Yeah. I promote, don't absolutely blast yourself for twice a week. Have a moderately hard workout 5-6 times a week, and that's going to be more beneficial. And then it's part of your daily routine, and it's not a chore. It's not like twice a week. It's pretty much every single day. And then I think I said this in a live video on my normal profile yesterday. Once you have a training and eating routine that feels like normal everyday life, then you're not going to come off it. And that is what you want to look for in your life, man. No, in your training program, if you're looking for it. So I'm going to go back on the old Facebook and see if there's any questions from the boys live. We are live. I feel like I can talk epic Now I've got this. Talk epic like. Wow, that's fucking good grammar. I feel like I can use some more phrases a bit better because I've got a cool microphone now. It's time. What's that UFC guy presenter's name? Cool. No questions. I got Tom saying hi. Hello, Tom. Hope you're doing good. Yeah, no questions from the boys. But yeah, I'm doing these mostly every Thursday. But obviously, I'm with the Hungarian Sevens team tomorrow at my first international tournament, which should be fucking cool. But yeah, if you have questions, you can drop them in when I post, or if you have questions anyway, just find me on Facebook, Instagram. Just search Regan's Rugby, you'll get me, or you can email me, regansrugby@gmail.com. And if you're watching the video, you've already got my group, so you can post in the group. That's it from me, boys and girls. Hope you have a lovely week. Speak to you soon. Peace out.